Yeah, I've been gone for a full season. So much shit happened on the channel.
No, I was told that.
Salakia, give me 1 second. I'm just trying to bring up the article.
Come on, come.
Salakia, 1 moment. All right.
Hey, Mos, I need you to keep it down, okay? I need you to keep it down, please. Thank you.
CNN. Dang, this shit won't let me copy and paste Slovakia.
Hey, shalom. I came here about Shemir Shabbat.
Shalom, sir. Yahweh Shem Yashab Rakatha.
No matter one.
I'm just getting this article prepared, sir.
Let's get it now. Hey, shalom, Israel. To all the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian, to all my brothers, I say shalom. Yahweh Shemir Shabbat Katam. To all my sisters, I say shalom. Yahweh Shemar. Atabah Shemir Shai. I'm priest and officer Adiyah 1000 Adiyah with the I.S.U.P.K, which is the Israel School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. And you already know what it is. We here to teach black, Hispanics, and Native Indian the truth about the Bible, that they are the 12 tribe of Israel. Understand? We seen COVID-19. We seen what's going on in the world. All these things has been prophesied in the Bible, man. Yeah.
Shalom Akim,
All these
Yahaba
things have been
Shalom.
prophesied in the Bible. So like I pass the class to officer, precinct officer 5,000 officer Alban.
Water, brother, appreciate it. Yahaba Shalom, Shalom Akim, Yahaba Shemar Al-Fan, Bashim Yahashai, to the sisters tuning in. As the brother brought out, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, the Canada School, priest officer 5,000 Abun. Joining me, priest officer 1,000 Adiyar, who is now the camp leader of Quebec Hall of Montreal. We'll report to him. And shout out to priest officer 500 Zabadja, who's now over the GTA region, Peel, Ajax, Pickering, Toronto, Vaughan, Hamilton, St. Catharines, all the way over to the border. You'll check into him. Congratulations to both of you brothers for that.
Do all, sir.
And shout out to Officer 50 Shariwan. Appreciate him for tuning in. Everyone else has not tuned in. All right, tune in so you can understand. All right, what's going on here? We have to speak about today is the terrorist incident, so-called terrorist incident that happened in London. I need the articles on that. I need your terrorism precepts on the events that are going on now all over Canada. What's happening in Canada is what's always been going on in Canada, and that is that bands of people, bands of devils have gone out and murdered people for no reason. For no reason at all. Listen, they already defeated the Arabs. They defeated the Muslims in war. In armed conflict, they defeated them. And they've been defeating them since the 80s. The Soviets went over to Afghanistan first, destroyed them, okay? Couldn't get what they wanted politically out of Afghanistan, so they pulled out. They had decimated the Afghanistan nonetheless. Then you had the Kuwait conflict. You had Iraq and Iran. Like, they've done a number on these Arabs, and they're still not satisfied. They're not satisfied, okay, that they've destroyed them and demolished them in their home countries. This devil, Nathaniel Veltman, who was an eggplant operator, he worked at the damn eggplant. He was processing eggs. Decided one day he was going to take his truck and he was going to plow it into a family of Arabs. Okay, the story on this cat is this cat's 20 years old, a devil from London, Ontario, that region over there, and they're trying to pinpoint whether he attacked them because they're Muslim, or he was just, Akim, he was just having a bad day, and he just drove his truck into some people. No big deal. It's not it's not terrorism, Shariwan. He was just angry. He was upset. Like these devils in Canada constantly making excuses for their own is going to get them killed, and it's going to make events like this become normal. Events like this are going to become normal in Canada because every time it happens, you're going to have, well, should we label a terrorist incident? What should we make of it? He just plowed his truck into them. So if it wasn't a terrorist incident, he just saw some Arabs he wanted to run over. That's it. That's all that you're going to do. That's what you're going to call this. Like, they love their own people, man, and that's how they took Canada. And Canada shouldn't be shocked because events like this are going to become normal. Canada, there's no reason for Canada to be shocked at all because that's how they got Canada. Okay, they just found 215 bodies at the bottom of that underneath that school out there in British Columbia. Those bodies didn't get there because of love, peace, and granola. Those bodies didn't get there because we're a multicultural society. Canadians are a group of genocidal maniacs that became civilized because the people that they've killed were no opponents anymore. You get my point? They beat them into powder. Okay, what was in Nathaniel Veltman, what was in Gabriel Wortman is what was in every Canadian settler when they came upon the First Nations. It was in every Canadian slave master when they had black women, black men as slaves up there in Montreal. It was in the minds of the killers of Marie Antoinette up there in Montreal. It was in their minds. And they had a slave, put his sister to death. Okay? When they had a slave put his sister to death. That's what's in them, man. And the problem now is that they need to release it now, but they don't have First Nations to go kill. They didn't kill the damn near all of them already. Okay? The West Indians, they subjugated them to Little Jamaica, and they come in to bulldoze Little Jamaica now as we speak. Okay, they've got pickaxes, they've got bulldozers, they got jackhammers and all of that, ripping and robbing Little Jamaica up there in Toronto. Like, this became normal. The problem is now it's hurting them. It's hurting them and it's affecting them. And what you're going to see now, before the end, you're going to see all these nations take revenge on each other. Then what's going to happen is you're going to have an Arab who's going to commit an attack in Canada, okay? And then an Edomite's going to commit an attack in Canada, an oppressor. You get my point? So these things are going to continue happening. All right, let me check the feed here. Everybody said the precepts ready. Let's get the article. Okay, let me check the feed here. Any questions? All right, if you have questions, type them in. All right. That's the boy. Look at him. 20 years old. He wasn't hurt of flies, Abaja. Look at this poor guy. Poor, misguided. He was just angry, Sabaji. This isn't terrorism. He was just upset. And he ran his car into a whole family of Arabs. He killed everybody but the 9-year-old boy. And they are still hesitant to give him terrorism charges. Right. I'm reading an article and they're saying, terrorism's changed since 9/11. Oh, it did? It's changed because now it's not Arabs flying planes into buildings. Now it's Edomites running you and your whole family over. Like, they should make an example out of this cat, and they're not going to because they love their own. And this is the spirit of Canada. What's in this boy, what's in these 20-year-old Caucasians in Canada, what was in Gabriel Wortman before he killed 15 people, that's what was in the founders of Canada. That's what was in Cabral, okay? Your Cabot. That's what was in John Cabot. That's what was in. I forget his first name, but that's what was in Hudson. Okay.
Con, sir, I have the article here for you.
Come on, let's read the article.
Con, sir. One moment. A London assault killed 4 Muslim family members. A terrorist attack Trudeau. Right? This is from the CP24.com. That's City Post 24.
Okay.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says attack in London, Ontario that killed 4 members of a Muslim family and left 1 child in hospital was an act of terrorism.
Thank you. He's doing something. He's able to read and understand something, and that's true. What Justin Trudeau said was absolutely true. That was terrorism. That's what it was. It's very simple. It's a very simple concept. Running over 4 people is terrorism. Okay. And the problem with black people in Toronto, the problem with West Indians in Toronto, is not black culture. It's not Jamaican to run up and shoot your own brother, man. They call that bad mind, right? That brother has a bad mind. Okay, the sister, when she goes to get an abortion in Toronto, she has a bad mind. Okay, she's running around, has an OnlyFans, and is showing her behind for everybody, and is having sex with everybody in the neighborhood. They call her a fast gal. Okay, this isn't native. The problem with black men and women, with West Indians and Haitians, is that we are acting like Nathaniel Veltman. That's the problem. We're Nathaniel Veltman now. You get my point? We became Nathaniel Veltman. So I'm upset. I'm in my pickup truck. I'm gonna run over some Arabs. He's wearing a different color. Let's follow him and kill him. We became Caucasians in this damn place, man. It is absolutely white to kill your brother over a small issue. It's the spirit of our oppressor. It's the spirit of Cain. It's the spirit of Esau. Esau wanted to kill his brother because he blew his birthright on some meat, on some stew. Okay, lamb stew or what have you, goat stew or whatever it was, pottage. For some raw meat in a damn stew, he sold his birthright. Now he wants to go and kill Jacob. That's what's in Nathaniel Veltman, and that's the problem with our people in Jane and Finch at Regent Park, okay, in Montreal Nord. Because we idolized Nathaniel Veltman. That's another one. The Italian mob is another joke. The Italian mob went legit decades ago. The so-called Negro is trying to become a recording artist, so he can tell everybody about his damn crime. We became like the mob. We became like the Catholics. We become like the oppressor. That's the problem. Okay. What he did is the same thing that's going on every day in Jane and Finch. It's going on everywhere in Winnipeg. Forget about it, with the First Nations. Okay. But him, Nathaniel Veltman, this is the cat that was at that boarding school that had 215 natives below it. 215 native bodies. Okay. That's the cat that was giving you the discipline. That's who was disciplining Circle Bear and them. You acted up. You wouldn't praise. You wouldn't bow down for Caesar Borgia. They take you over to Nathaniel Veltman, and your bones will be found 60 years later from ground penetrating radar. That's what these people are. But again, what the I.S.U.P.K has been saying in Canada now for several years, people walk up and down the street at. People tried to argue with this on Facebook, argue with this on the street. Why am I hearing myself? If you're not speaking, put yourself on mute. All right. These days are coming back on this earth. The days of what? The days of our oppressor being a murderer, man. And it being known, it being obvious. Okay. Everyone should just, when they see the camps are coming back out in Canada, you should shut your mouth and keep walking, because what we said about these people is true. Keep reading the article.
Salak. Khan, other one, Khan. After observing a moment of silence for the victims, Trudeau spoke in the House of Commons and called the assault a terrorist attack motivated by hatred.
Yeah, he said that, but that, anything a politician does, you can halfway believe and halfway not believe, because what they're trying to do constantly is to get votes and to get liked, okay, for their ratings to go up, because then that makes them more likely to be voted. Keep reading.
Another one, Their lives were taken in a brutal, cowardly, and brazen attack of violence, Trudeau said.
Brutal, cowardly, and brazen. Brutal, cowardly, and brazen. Once again, anybody saying that the Arabs, the Edomite, is an idiot. Okay, Esau was brutal, was cowardly, and he was brazen. Okay, went to Jacob, or Jacob went to him, and he wept and hugged Jacob, and then he goes back to his damn lair, and now Amalek won't let us through their land. When we come out of Egypt, they wouldn't let us through our land. When we cut through the land of Edom or that region, they killed the weak and the ill of us and the old of us. That's what you'll have. He's a snake. That's what he is. That's what these people are, the snakes. Okay? And he killed this. I'll help everybody out in Canada. He ran into them because they were Muslim. Right? This wasn't random. He was planning to kill Muslims because he's tired of seeing that. Who is that Sikh that was running for prime minister? The cat with the turban. He's always wearing a different color turban. He was saying that, this is our Canada. It's something Singh. You know what I'm talking about? Zabaji would know. He's in the GTA, right? Who is that guy?
I'm getting his profile right now. That was Salaka. He's the leader of the NDP.
Yeah.
Out in the west of Canada.
Oh, he's in Western Canada. He doesn't live in Toronto?
Sir. But the NDP does have a party in Toronto. Is Jagmeet Singh.
Yeah, Jagmeet Singh was up there talking about this is our Canada, where you getting killed for wearing a turban. And it was the genocide of the indigenous. Once again, you didn't need to wait for Jagmeet Singh to say that. All you had to do was come to Dundas Square, Dundas and Yanj on Saturday and hear us tell you about it. All you had to do was come to St. Catharines and Metcalfe and hear Officer Adiar tell you about it. You get my point? That's all you had to do. Read on.
Khan. Police said a man intentionally drove a truck into a family out for a walk on Sunday evening, and that he targeted them because of their faith. Nathaniel Veltman, 20, faces 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder.
So what is the issue here? Why has this been labeled a hate crime and a terrorist incident? They just said they know he ran into them because of their faith. He saw some Arabs, and for some reason, as if he didn't conquer the Arabs and destroy them, he wanted to go run into them, run them over, and kill them, man. Okay? But you saw the picture of him, Nathaniel Veltman. Get his picture back up on the screen, please. I'm done with the article. Was there anything else we need to go over in this article? I think you're muted, Zabaji.
Khan, sir. I'm gonna get his picture up right now.
Yeah, let's get his picture back up. Like we've been telling you that this old cute, nice. Look at him. He's doing track. He's in sports. He's not like you Negroes in Jane and Finch selling drugs. He's an ideal citizen. He's a good Canadian. He's the one you got to be worried about, not the cat over in Jane and Finch. Okay, him. This cat, Nathaniel Veltman, this is the true face of terrorism, and everyone in Canada needs to understand what was being said by the I.S.U.P.K in Canada was absolutely correct. And this isn't the end of it, man. This is not the end of it. Get me get me Matthew 24. This is the beginning of sorrows. This is the beginning, man. This is just the beginning. Okay? Before this is all over, you're going to see all kinds of nations come against other nations in acts of revenge, man. And it's going to spread all across the world. Like, again, they're fighting over in the Middle East, but that war spilled over into London, Ontario, of all places. Fighting halfway across the world in the Middle East. Lo and behold, there's war going on in Canada. Arabs attacking people in Toronto. Caucasians running Arabs over. That's what's going on. When they're having beef with Iran, there was skirmishes with the Iranians. All right, and some other group. Palestinian beat the bull, you know what, out of some Jewish cat down in Times Square the other day, a few weeks ago. Okay, let's get his photo up here, man, because this is terrorism. Okay, this is who the Mounties, the Canadian Mounties, this is whose profile they need to have in their terrorism database, because him and Gabriel Wortman, as far as I can see, are some of the biggest terrorists in recent times here in Canada. Okay, you had for those of you that don't remember, Gabriel Wortman was the cat that killed 15 people? It was 15 people in Nova Scotia. He was heading down to Halifax to go and spread love upon the Negroes down at Halifax. Okay, there's only one. Halifax is known primarily for one race of people, and he was headed down there to give them loves about you, to teach them about Jesus after he killed 15 of his own, or some odd people of his own. Okay, thank the Most High that he stopped it before that devil got to Halifax. Okay, the Most High knows they did enough, again, terrorism to black people in Halifax. Once again, what they did in Africville, when they came with bulldozers, brother, came in with bulldozers and just mowed people's houses over and told them to go somewhere else. Right. That's not discussed. We're not talking about that in terms of terrorism. Okay? That's not on the national discussion. That's not in the prime minister, and his campaign. And you're doing the same thing to Jamaicans in Little Jamaica, the West Indians. Okay? You subjugated them. You've impoverished them. This cat, this is the face of terrorism right here. Okay? This is the biggest gangbanger. Once again, like Negroes in Canada are horrible. You kill some. Well, first of all, you kill one person, and then you go and rap about it, and then you wonder why you're on the run. Cats will give their whole operation away on Instagram, and then when they get caught, they'll think somebody snitched about you. You put your whole operation is on Instagram, you idiot. Like, we're terrible at being like this guy, but we're trying to be like him. We're trying, brother, pushing the so-called black woman out of her blooming mind. Just a trying to be like Caucasian women. This is all this is about. That's the problem. It's always been the problem with us. We get put in captivity for our sins, and then while we're there, we try and be like the people we're under. We try to be like the Romans. We have no king but Caesar. That failed. It came in 70 AD and slaughtered us and sold the survivors off into slavery. And today we're trying to be like Canadians, while they still are kidnapping and murdering indigenous women by the truckloads. Okay, they're still shipping guns and dope into the reserves. This is the face of terrorism right here. This is a criminal. This is the gangbanger. Okay, this is the cat with the highest body count in Canada. You don't believe me? Ask London who they should be worried about. Okay, the problem with the Negro, Latino, First Nation is they're trying to be like this guy in the screen. That's why gun violence is so high in Jane and Finch, in Rochester, or not Rochester, excuse me, Jane and Finch, in Toronto, in Montreal, because everybody wants to be like him. Okay, right. We need to stop being like him and start being like ourselves. Who are we really? We're not Canadians, but we live in Canada. Okay. We are Israelites. We have to live like Israelites. Give me my scriptures on terrorism. Shari one, give me, this is the beginning of sorrows, Matthew 24, all right?
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 8. And it reads, all these are the beginning of sorrows.
All these, this is the beginning of sorrows. You're going to have all kinds of revenge killings in Canada, okay? If the Mounties, the RCMP, and the like, if they were smart, they would put him on the terrorist watch list. When you see a Caucasian in London, you see him in a pickup truck, stop him, because he might be about to run Arabs over. Okay? You see an Edomite up in Nova Scotia, he's having a bad day at work. He's driving erratically. Sharyuan, stop him, because he might have an AR-15 ready to go kill his whole neighborhood. Right. Canada needs to really profile Nathaniel Veltman, Gabriel Wortman, and all oppressors, man. You want to stop the gun flow in Canada? Don't lock up YG in them. Lock up the cats that they're getting it from. The cats that are walking from Vermont over to Mount with a whole book bags full of guns. Okay? The cat in Niagara Falls, who's somebody somewhere in Canada, is 3D printing these guns. There's no way they're getting that many guns in with no serial number. Okay? And the gats that they're catching are all it's all plastic. Okay, most of the guns either have like a metal stock, the barrels metal or what have you. They finding all plastic guns over here in Canada. Why is that? Because they're getting somebody to 3D print them. Okay, these are the beginnings of sorrows, man. And when we were sorrowful, you didn't call that terrorism. When we were sorrowful,
Right.
you didn't call that an issue. You didn't bring it to the national debate, to the national stage. Now it's going to happen to you. You reap what you sow, man. That's what this world's going to know that very, very soon. Okay, that's the first lesson. The first lesson is you reap what you sow. Okay, and then you're going to reap what you sow. You're going to pay for what you've done. All right, but this is what took Canada over. This is what made Canada great. You want to know why you have all these stores, Timmy's, all these chains, Canada Tire everywhere, paved roads and beautiful skylines? It's because he slaughtered the Native Americans. Okay? These are the beginnings of sorrow. Give me my other scriptures on this. If you have questions online, type your questions in.
Salakia, sir,
Quickly.
what you're saying is so heavy, sir. Because like it's definitely heavy. A few years ago, there was a major raid where they found all the not all. They found a 20 plus 3D printed guns, and they all look like toys. And all those guns went to the blacks, Hispanics, and neighborhood, sir.
Yeah, all of them are getting dumped there, man. All of them are getting dumped there, and then they're going to go on the other side and say, we have a gun violence problem in Toronto. Thanks, Sherlock.
Right,
you did great. That's great detective work. You did found there's a gun problem. I can see that, and I'm not in Canada. Okay? Once again, this is who's running everybody over in Canada. This is who's killing everybody in the neighborhood. And this is who is shipping all the guns over to Jane and Finch. Okay?
Right, sir.
White supremacy is what's wrong with this place. And it's going down, man. It's on its last leg. I need my scriptures. I'd ask for them before the class. Let's go.
Sir.
More scriptures. Go ahead.
Salakia, I'm not sure if Officer Shariwan is lagging or not, but I do have the Matthew 24:8 for you.
He already read that.
Sir.
I'm looking for more. Hakim, do you need them? Do you have them or no? You've gone over the
Salakia, sir. I have Habakkuk 12:2 and 12. Woe to them that build a city on blood.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, sir. Salakia, I gotta get it back.
Salakia, other one. Did you want Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 10?
I mean, yeah, we can use that, but that's not I want the scripture that says, the first thing you want to do is the scripture that says terrors. Terror shall make him afraid on every side. Strength shall be hunger bitten. I want Job 18. I want Job 20. All right. I want get Obadiah 1. I'll just give them to you. That's a good point. I want 1 second. We can start with those. I want John 8:44 for the topic I was just bringing out. I want 1 Thessalonians 2. Be ye not deceived that they not come until they come and fall away first, and that man of perdition be revealed. I want that one. 1 Thessalonians 2. I want Hebrews 12:16. Other ones.
Salakia, other one. I'm holding Job 18 and verse 11.
Yeah, let's get it. Job 18 and 11. Go ahead.
This is the book of Job, chapter 18 and verse 11. Terror shall make him afraid on every side.
terrorists are going to make him afraid on every side. It's going to come from everywhere, man. These incidents are going to come from his own Gabriel, Nathaniel Veltman, Gabriel Wortman, and they're going to come from the Arabs as well. Pretty soon, that Japanese and Chinese that you think are so friendly, he's going to get in the mix as well. There's a Chinese man that shot a 6-year-old boy when he was trying to get his bike off their yard. They're terrorists as well, man. These people have terrorized the children of Israel. Terrorists are going to make them afraid on every side, you know.
And shall drive him to his feet.
It's going to drive him to his feet, man. He's sitting down right now because he's exhausted from having to deal with COVID, all right, and the different wars they fought. But these terrors are going to drive him to his feet. He's going to have to do something about it now. He's not going to be able to ignore this. The Mounties aren't going to be able to just chalk it up to he just had a bad day. He just ran some people over. They're going to have to get up and they're going to have to do the work that they're getting paid for. Okay, like being a cop in Canada now, and RCMP and all that is about to become this job. It's money. The job is very good salary. So they're going to have to do their job because stuff like this is going to continue. They're going to be driven to their feet.
Verse 12. His strength shall be hunger bitten.
Yeah, he's going to deal with this. He's going to deal with the Israelis over there, helping the Israelis out. He's going to lose his strength dealing with the Hamas and all those other groups. He's going to lose his strength, man. And before that, you had Azerbaijan. It was 2 small countries, Armenia and Azerbaijan. They were going at it, right? Before that, you had Turkey. There was a whole attempted coup. They tried to throw that president out, Recep Erdogan. Okay? So those things going to...
And destruction shall be ready at his side.
Destruction is going to be ready at his side, man. He's going to get destroyed. Okay? He is going to get destroyed. And that's what's going on here. This is going to rip the fabric of Canada apart. Canada prided itself on one main thing, and that is not being as racist as the United States. Well, looking at the screen here, you can take him off the screens, Abadja. That's enough of him. Looking at this, but looking at what was on the screen, Canada is no less racist. In fact, they finding more bodies now, Hakim. They found 25. They found 80 to 90 more First Nations bodies in these schools in Saskatchewan, man. It's not just 215. They finding 300, 400 extra bodies, man, of First Nations boys and girls, man, children are put to death by the Catholic Church, Catholic nuns, etc. And the Catholic Church answered. They had just spoke about it at a high level. I don't know if it was the Vatican, but at a high level, they said, we're not going to address it, basically. They're not going to address what they've done to the First Nations in these residential schools. And to the First Nations tuning in, what happened in the residential schools has nothing to do with the Bible. It has everything to do with okay? Nation culture is all throughout the Bible. Smoke signals, fringes, dancing, war chants, all that's in the Bible, man. The way the First Nations live, that's recorded in the Bible about the tribe of Gad. What our enemy did is he destroyed us, man. And it just so happened that he was also lying on the Bible, on the Most High, while doing it. Okay? The scriptures say this. They give me that scripture where it says, those that slaughter you will say, blessed be the Lord. Zabadja. It's not the one, it's not in the New Testament. It's one in the Old Testament that's similar to it. Zabadja, Sharia one. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 13. It shall devour the strength of his skin.
Yeah, it's going to devour the strength of his skin. So you get that.
Even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength.
And nobody's going to get charged. And once again, where's the terrorists? Where is the terrorist charges to be laid against him? Okay? That's what he needs. And once again, so everyone understands the Arabs are not Israelites. Those Muslims that got run over are heathens. They're not our people. But yet and still, that this BS, this is it. Okay, all this you gotta watch where you're going so you don't get run over, and kids, you gotta be careful of your kids. They don't get molested when you take them out somewhere. You at the playground watching your kids like a damn hawk. You watching your son at school, what happened. Worrying all that nonsense is going to be on. Okay, this is all be a dream. Okay. This is the end of this foolishness here. And once again, they're not our people. But in the kingdom, you're not going to be allowed to just run some damn Arabs over. Let an Edomite run some Arabs over in the zone that I'm over. Make blood of him. Okay? Won't have to worry about it again. Wasn't there such and such, such and such? Oh yeah, he got fed to dogs. Don't do it again. Everyone understands not to kill. Okay, that's how you handle it. That's how you handle it. A bigger bully is coming here on this earth to smack him in the teeth in Canada, smack him in the teeth in the Middle East. He's going to outbully him, and he's going to put him in his place. Give me that, Zabaji. Hold Isaiah 14:1 or Isaiah 14. You're going to take them and put them in their place. This nonsense is going on. The earth is out of whack. Is because you got children and mass murderers running this. He's going to run over some Arabs. When a woman doesn't want to have sex with him, he's going to take a 12-gauge shotgun and kill everybody in the school and blow half the damn school up. Okay? How do you rectify that? Punch him in the teeth. That's how you handle a bully. That's how you handle a bully. And that's what Yahawashi, the one the world calls Christ, is coming to do, and the 144,000 and the angels. They're coming to kick the so-called white man in the teeth. Him and his Air Force, him and his Marines, him and his Marines, him and his police force, him and his spies, all these badass spies, 007, CIA, MI6. Christ is putting an end to all the nonsense. Okay? And he's going to put his people, Negroes, Latinos, and First Nations in charge. So you won't have to worry about your son or daughter going out. You won't have to worry about Arabs getting run over anymore, because the people that run them over will be underground picking whatever I tell them to pick. Okay? Right. So it'll just be arbitrary. Go down there and find me fossils. But I want fossils from this specific species. Just make them do whatever. Just everything horrible and brutal, and just keep them under absolute iron grip, and these problems won't happen anymore. Okay, and then you'll have world peace. But before peace comes war. That's how it works. Get me, or they shall put them in their place. Give me Isaiah 14. And again, Canada. This is their history, is it not? This is the history of our oppressor in Canada. This is who and what he is, and that's how you handle somebody like that. Go ahead. Whoever has Isaiah 14, read.
Come on, sir. I got Isaiah 14:1.
Come on.
And the Salakia. Isaiah 14. The Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel.
Right. At the end of this, the Lord's going to have mercy on Jacob. He's going to choose Israel. He's not choosing the Arabs. He's not choosing Nathaniel Veltman or Gabriel Wortman or Dylan Roof. He's not choosing any of those people or the people that they come from, so-called Caucasians. He's going to have mercy on Jacob. Okay? You so-called blacks, Latinos, and First Nations, the brothers and sisters suffering in Brazil, in South America, Colombia, Venezuela, Bolivia, Chile. Okay, they're having elections over there in Peru. They think, once again, our brothers from the tribe of Asher and our sisters over there in Peru, they think they're gonna win because they're gonna vote in an Asherite over that Ammonite. Once again, Negroes, particularly the tribe of Judah, doesn't like Latinos because they think they have their own countries. That's a myth as well. Let me take a tangent. Mexico does not belong to the I.S.U.P.K. You understand? Mexico belongs to the Spanish conquistadors who run it. Okay, Peru does not belong to the Peruvians. Peru belongs to Fukimoji, the cat over there in Peru. I believe that he's an Israelite. He's running against an Ammonite. She's from Japan. Holding Cow flew over to Peru and is over the Peruvians.
Right.
You can't yet there's some kind of conjecture over who the Israelites are. There's no conjecture. Okay. She flew over to Peru, took a few classes, what have you, got whatever degree she has, and now she's running for, I believe, president of Peru. And once again, our Peruvian brothers and sisters, they think that once they're going to be better, there's going to be better days for Peru. That's a lie, man. That's a lie. Peruvians need the Lord's mercy. Okay, so-called Negroes in Canada need the Lord's mercy. The First Nations need the Lord's mercy, and that's all we're going to get. Politicians and Sikhs in Canada, like Jamit Singh, to come and speak for us and speak for the indigenous, that's not going to help. That's not going to do anything. Okay? But what Peruvians need to rest in, what blacks, Latinos, and First Nations in Canada need to rest in is that the Lord will give us mercy. Read on. And he's going to choose us. He's going to choose the Peruvians. So, okay, so we don't need to have an election against some Japanese that comes over and assumes control. The Lord is going to elect Peruvians. Okay? Read on.
Khan, other one, Khan. And will yet choose Israel and set
Your
them
sound
in
went
their...
out. I'm gonna have to leave and then come back in. My sound's acting up. So Zabaja, you can continue. I'm gonna leave real quick and then pop back in, okay?
Khan, other one, Khan.
All right.
This is Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right? So, like, you can see that the Lord is going to choose Israel. He's going to set us in our own land. He's going to put the oppressors in their place. They're going to have to pay for everything, every act of terrorism that they've done to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, he said it the other day that the Catholic Church is going to have to speak up for the bodies that they're finding out. And just like Officer Bond said, they're finding more mass graves, right? They're finding more mass graves of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? And you got to think about it. Voting has never done anything for us, right? You look at what just happened just a while ago. There was an election. They elected the chameleon. They got the Judites in America. There's now a Stop Asian Hate bill, right? And they didn't have to do anything, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have been marching and protesting. That hasn't been working, and there is no Stop Black Hate bill, right? 6-year-old boys are getting shot over bikes on lawns, and then the crazy Asian, he's getting a $10,000 bail, while blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans can't get bail at all.
Yeah, right? You can't get bail. You can forget about all those things. And nobody else talks about the black women that were getting power bombed, acid thrown on them, beaten, right, okay, to a pulp when they had to go to the hospital for I don't know what was going on in those nail salons. They're just beating them up just to beat them up. But everybody's on Stop Asian Hate. Everyone's on this topic of an Edomite, a Caucasian running over 4 Arabs. It's tragic. It's terrible. But nobody on earth looks at what's going on to the so-called Mexicans at the border, the Central Americans, so-called Negroes, the so-called Caribbeans, Haitians as well. Like, we're the people left out. But guess what? As it says in Isaiah 14:1, we're going to take them, the people that had us captives, we're going to put them in their place. Nathaniel Veltman, you won't have to worry about him. He'll be given some work to do. Okay? He'll be put under orders. He'll be given hard physical bondage. All these Ted Bundy, the Green River Killer, all these cats murdering these Native American women up here in Canada, you don't have to worry about any of them. They'll be under strict, cruel, and severe subjection. And you'll stop all of that, man. And that's the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is for Israelites. Okay? And every nation is going to thank us for the world we're going to make. Because it's going to be free from this nonsense. Arabs can walk up and down the street. No, they can't serve Allah. You can't serve a damn moon god, but your family isn't going to get run over. Okay? Well, you can't go to strip clubs, but you know your daughter won't be kidnapped. There won't be meth in your neighborhood. That's the society we're going to build. All right, but nonetheless, let's get back to the scriptures. Give me precepts that I called out. We can just start running through them now. Okay. Oh yeah, the sister was talking about the feed is cutting up a bit. Can everyone hear me?
Sir.
If you can hear me, press 1. If you can, I'm talking about in the feed, in the not in the feed, in the class. If you're not presenting yourself on video, but you're listening, press 1 if you can hear me and see me clearly. The natives for sure. Once again, like we were discussing earlier, the amount of native kids they found, it was at 215. It jumped to 400. They found 400 Native American boys and girls at these residential schools in Saskatchewan, and what was that one in British Columbia? It's probably 1,000 kids that been killed, man, over 60 years. 1,000 of them, and that haven't even been accounted for. They know 2,000 died. Probably 1,000 more that they're gonna find later on. And what are they going to do for the First Nations? Oh, so sorry. Those Sacagawea Circle Bear, what have we done? We are terrible people. We're sorry. That's all we get is a damn sorry. And Trudeau will come out there and he'll do a damn powwow. He'll dance around a fire, and that'll be that. But let somebody attack an Asian or say something against the Asians, because COVID-19 did come from China. They're going to pass a Stop Asian Hate bill. And on a cardinal note, they didn't stop student loans. I'm waiting for these student loans to get canceled. That's ridiculous. And more stimulus checks. Biden was complaining about Trump not handing out these stimulus checks. He's getting in, and he handed out one damn stimulus check. I'm waiting to see this Negro loving, free welfare for all. Let the hippie loving, everybody's student loans get canceled. I'm waiting for this Joe Biden to come out. I don't see it. I see the same Joe Biden that said he didn't want his daughter to go to school with roaches. Okay. Right. And once again, what happened on these native residential schools is the spirit that was in those people is in Daniel Veltman, and he went out and took it out on some Arabs. So now the Arabs are dealing with it. Let them deal with it, man. Black people in Canada do not get involved in this nonsense, because these heathens are going to be going back and forth with each other in Montreal, in Vancouver, in Toronto, all across Canada. These heathens are going to be going back and forth, having fist fights. You brought COVID over here. Where's your mask? Okay, there's a video out. Some heathen cursing out some East Indian woman because she didn't have her mask on. She said, "You don't live here." The East Indian said, "This is my country." This is my country. Okay, let them East Indians and Filipinos, let them duke it out, man. They should duke it out. They had a good run, right? They had a good, beautiful run. Let them fall, man. Sit back, grab the popcorn, let them have a good, clean fight. Okay, let them go the distance and stay the hell out of it, and serve the Most High, and He'll be our help. He'll be our refuge. The scriptures say this: wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. Give me that. Give me Isaiah 33:6 real quick. All the precepts I had called for, we can hold them as well. Also, Akim, anyone in the room that's listening, if you have questions, type your questions in. Let me do a little plug here. Of course, check out I.S.U.P.K.com for any updates. We got the Midwest Cookout Fire Weekend. I think it's the 5th annual or 6th annual Fire Weekend. Make sure you check that out. July 21st through the 24th. It's going to be in Chicago, Illinois. Clear your schedule if you can. Make your way over there across the border. All right. We had the New York Cookout, which I'll be in attendance for. The New York Cookout, headquarters cookout in New York City is going to be at Randall's Island. Randall's Island is just outside of Manhattan. So when you think of New York City, it's really what you're thinking about is just Manhattan, right? Times Square and all that. Just off of that is an island called Randall's Island. All right. It's going to be on Randall's Island, August 21st through the 24th, I believe. We got Vegas coming up in November. All right. So any questions, type your questions in. All right. Read Isaiah 33:6, and then I'll stop my breakdown real quick to take questions. Okay.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33 and verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times.
Wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of thy time.
And
Once
strength
again,
of salvation.
if you're thinking, well, I'm Canadian, and him attacking the Arabs is wrong, let me take the Arab side and go out into some protests and get my teeth knocked in, or get killed, or get arrested over some Arab and Edomite, Arab and Caucasian beef. You're a foolish man. You're a foolish woman. Okay. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. What is the wisdom and knowledge? The wisdom and knowledge here in this book, in the scriptures. Okay. Because as was brought out, no one's going to be charged for what happened to the First Nations. They found 400 kids buried underneath these schools. It just came out. They found 100 more in Saskatchewan. Kids, man. Kids. There was no plague going out. There wasn't a infestation of chickenpox. These kids were choked, hung, and beaten to death because they didn't want to serve Caesar Borgia and cut their hair and be indoctrinated. They want to be molested anymore, what have you. All manner of filth was going on in there. Okay? And what's going to keep you from going crazy? Wisdom, knowledge, knowing that they're going to get their just due. Okay? If there's a man coming that didn't forget about that. Like the scriptures say in Joel, the 3rd chapter, the Lord shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. He's going to, all this, what happened in those schools, he's going to bring it up, man, in the Middle East. And he's going to plead for his people. How? The blood you spilled shall be spilled in the Middle East. Okay? Your blood's going to get spilled in the Middle East. You oppressors, you Arabs, the Chinese, Japanese, Africans, everyone that had a hand in our destruction, in our calamity. Okay? Wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of our times. Once again, like I was about to say, if there are natives that survived those residential schools, then there are nuns that were there beating them half to death and touching them inappropriately and hanging them from closets, from rails in the closets, hanging them by coat hangers and beating them with paddles and rendering them unconscious. Those people are still alive and they're still well in Western Canada, old, right, retired. Get to see their great grandkids. Once again, if they were Nazis, brother, they'd be chasing them from halfway across the earth to come get them. They still find a 98-year-old Nazi. This cat can't even remember the Holocaust. You ask about World War II. What? He about 10 minutes younger than dirt. They slapping the cuffs on him and bringing him to Geneva. 98-year-old Nazis are going to jail. You can go over there, you can fly over to Saskatoon, you can find some of these murderers, man. They're out here collecting pensions and growing old in retirement homes and taking trips over to British Columbia. You go find them. Go find them and bring them to justice. They're not going to. You know why? Because those weren't people that were killed in those residential schools. Those were savages. Guess what? The King of Israel, the King of Kings, the one the world calls Christ, Yahushua, he loves those savages, man. He loves the people that you don't think are people. Okay? Right. He loves the people that you hate. He loves the people that are dead down at the bottom of that school.
Shalakia, sir.
Hold me that scripture. Give me the scripture where it says, and the saints shall say, and it's in Revelations, the saints shall say, Lord, Lord, how long? How long? Okay. Go ahead, Zabadja. Shariwan, can you give me that scripture? It says in Revelation, in the state. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Concert. It's just heavy what you're saying because they're finding bodies, right, of our brothers and sisters, of our children that were murdered. And if it was any other nation, there would be a movie about it. There would be a 1,000 Salakia. They would make 1,000 movies about these same situations, right? Where our children are being found, and they're just not going to do anything about it, right? They're not going to do anything about it. They're Salakia, sir. We brought it out a while ago where the children of these residential schools, they in the middle of the night, they couldn't use the washroom. Right? They had to drink their own, for lack of better words, their own excrements, their own urine, sir. Right? And when they did that, they would be punished.
Right. Right. Real terrorism. Real terrorism. And those terrorists, man, are still alive. Bring them to justice. And once again, the RCMP and them, they have no excuse. You know how before they'll say, "Oh, we can't find all these missing and murdered Indigenous women because we're understaffed." Remember that, Shariwan? And we're handling other serious crimes. It's COVID-19. There's nothing going on out there. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Right.
They got plenty of manpower, resources. They haven't been doing anything for the past year. Go find them, man. RCMP, you want work? Go arrest those terrorists, man. They had our brothers and sisters in these residential schools. They're not going to do that. But the Lord will. The Lord is putting them under arrest. The Lord has a warrant, and he's sending Christ, the one the world calls Christ, YAHANNA, to come collect his prisoners. Give me the scripture of Revelation that I asked for.
Salaki, the other one. What was that verse in Revelation about?
Okay, you gotta have to look it up. It says, "The saints shall say, how, Lord, Lord, how long?"
Oh, come on.
It's talking about all the brothers and sisters that have cried out to the Most High, that are tired of it. And there's a lot of people that are not in the school in Canada, but they're tired of it. You get my point? And they will come into the school, and that those prayers will be heard. Okay, by the Most High, He's going to answer them, man. Don't get upset. Don't be worried. Don't think you have to go out and take revenge, First Nation, because all those brothers and sisters died, they'll all come back. They'll all be back, man. Everybody comes back. Reincarnation is real. Okay? Those brothers and sisters will be back, and the people that hurt them, they will be punished. Now and in the life to come.
Sir, I have the Revelations.
Give it to Shariwan, please.
Officer Shariwan, the Revelations verse is Revelation 6 and 10.
Zabaj, you have something you wanted to say, or
Sir, I wanted to bring out Revelations 18 and 8, if I may, sir.
Yeah, please do. Go ahead.
Revelations 18 and 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her. Right, sir? So, Salakia, sir, if I may, Salakia, sir?
Go ahead.
Khan. Our oppressors, they think they're just going to get away with all these crimes, right? They think that they could just kill us. They could just give us drugs, murder our children, right? Commit all the crimes that they want to because they're mad that they can't do the things they do. And the Lord has a plan for them. Right, the Lord definitely has a plan for them that they're not going to get away with the crimes that they want to commit.
Absolutely, man. Like what happened, which is why we keep saying what happened in Canada, the COVID-19. This is just the tip of the iceberg, man. This is just the beginning.
Right.
Okay, what's coming is going to make COVID-19 look like a breeze, look like a warm up, and that's all this was, man. The calamity of these nations is coming, and it is right what happened to them, and it is right what is going to happen to them because of what they've done. Again, COVID-19, it was killing who? The old and sick.
Right.
Who was old out of West Canada? Those residential school teachers. That's who's old. That's who's dying.
Right.
That's who died out there in Saskatoon. That's who died out there in Winnipeg. That's who died out in Calgary. Right? It was attacking the old and the sick. Those residential school teachers, they were young and healthy, could beat those natives half to death. They're old now. And COVID-19's out on the loose. Like once again, what we were saying, you're not going to escape the Lord's judgment. The Lord is going to destroy this place quick. Canada is going to get destroyed like that. Like 1, 2, 3. Okay? And nobody should ask why. Nobody should cry, say pray for Canada, pray for Paris, pray for Palestine. None of that should be going on because of events like this that the Catholic Church won't even recognize. Again, the Catholic Church, Akim, they're giving out money for the sexual abuse, right? They're going bankrupt over it because they didn't touch. It's so disgusting. They touched everybody's kid, and they have to pay billions of dollars. Why can't some of those donations? Why can't some of those fees, some of those payouts, go to the First Nations?
Right.
Why doesn't it go to the hood? Why doesn't it go to the hood in Winnipeg? Why doesn't it go to Saskatoon? Why doesn't it go to the Blackfoot? Why doesn't it go to the Iroquois? I'll tell you why, because this isn't the place. This isn't the place of freedom, prosperity, and righteousness, and good faith. This is the place of death, destruction, murder, and theft. Okay, and the Lord's going to judge it in one day. Give me my scripture, Revelation 6:10. Officer Shariwan. I can also do a side note. I'm going to roll in a few minutes. I just wanted to give the breakdown for the incident that occurred. Again, you have all your precepts. You can use Ezekiel 35:5. He has a hated blood, and he's doing that to the Arabs. You always want to tie it back into what he's done to us because of that spirit that he has to shed blood. He primarily uses it on us. It's just now happening to the Arabs. What he's done to the Arabs, he did to the West Indians over there in the islands. What he did to the Arabs, he did to First Nations children in the residential schools. You get my point? That's the spirit that he has. And because he has that spirit, death's going to follow him now. That's Ezekiel 35:5. You can go from 5 all the way. You can go to Peter. Those who live by the sword shall die by the sword. This is how he lives. This is how he controlled Canada. The problem now is that he has to die by the sword. They're going to die. Canada is going to be destroyed by war. Okay, that's the end of Canada. War, the death, destruction, and plague. You can get Revelation, the 6th chapter, with the 4 horsemen, the red horse. All right, he had power to take peace from the earth. All right, that's the spirit here that was in Nathaniel Veltman. The spirit of war is loose on this earth. Okay, as well as plagues. And the next comes famine and death. Okay, a whole lot of people you know and held dear and they're close to you are going to die very, very soon. All right, that was also prophesied before the end. So all those precepts you can wrap up together, along with others as well. And when you take it out to camp, what you always want to do is bring it back to the First Nations, bring it back to the West Indians, bring it back to the so-called Negroes, because no one's expecting that. Everyone's crying about the Arabs and crying about Nathaniel Veltman being so, damaged. But that's all well and fine. That's true, but no one's crying about us or down about us. You get my point? That's what you want to do. And you want to always tell people that these things are going to continue. The scriptures say this, Jeremiah 28, I think verse 8, that the prophets of old prophesied evil, death, and war. I'm loosely paraphrasing. All right, so give me the scripture, Revelation 6:10. Show you one.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 10. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood?
Can you read it again? I can't hear you. I'm going to break it down and then I'm going to roll, all right? So let me get Revelation 6 and 10. Matter of fact, I'll read Revelation 6 and 10. All right? It says, and they cry with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Who is speaking here? Let's get verse 9. And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. All those brothers and sisters that were killed. All those brothers and sisters that were killed because they did not want to become Christians. All those brothers and sisters that were killed because they did not want to be indoctrinated into white supremacy. They're part of that number as well. And chiefly the brothers and sisters that were killed for being in the truth in times past. Get my point? It'll be up there saying, or the Lord is hearing, it being said, how long is this going to go on? Okay, this is a precept you can, it's not a precept, but another scripture I will go to is, let us hear the prayer of the dead Israelites. Okay, That's what they would say. How long is this going to continue? How long are we going to keep getting killed here? How long is thou not avenge our blood? It's been so long. That's the point. It's been so long that this is going on, and the Lord is opening these seals, one, so that we can understand the truth, and two, so that all of these souls can be answered. All the death, destruction, murder, the theft, all that can be answered, all that can be paid back, man. That's what's going on. That's what all these First Nations children are doing, so you can understand, figuratively. That's what their death signifies. How long should this continue? Because they were killed for not wanting to be Christians. That's why they were put to death. They were killed for not wanting to be civilized, meaning indoctrinated into white supremacy. And before they cried to the Most High, man, and begged that he would end this, that he would avenge them. In the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we're going out to teach. But this is the beginning of the Lord avenging the First Nations as dead, the First Nations that were murdered, the missing and murdered indigenous women. This is the beginning of the Lord avenging those people, our brothers and sisters. Okay? So the prayers of the First Nations before they died, the prayers of the West Indians, prayers of the South Americans, the prayers of the Central Americans, so-called Mexicans will be answered. The answer to their prayers is the truth. All right. In the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we don't claim to be magicians. Okay. I don't know what it is that's on your mind or what have you. I don't know, who's going to come into the truth tomorrow or the next week. Right. What I do know is this: is the I.S.U.P.K is the answer to your prayers. This is what you've been for your entire life. This is what the First Nations have been asking for. This is what the First Nations have been begging for all years, and the traumatic events. This is what you've been asking for. You've been asking to be told the truth, to be free, okay, from the vices that hold you: weed, illicit sex, prostitution. You've been asking for men to come tell you like it is. You women have been asking for years now for real men. You've been going to the as a single mother, what have you. Here's the answer. That's what it is we claim to be. The Lord has answered your prayers through the disciples of Christ, through the truth. Okay? And that's what we seek to do. What's going to happen, what has been happening to the First Nations is being avenged and is going to be avenged. And the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is going to teach this to the First Nations, and we're going to tell you the future. The future of Canada is very, very bleak, is very, very horrible, is filled with death and destruction, and nations coming against each other, fighting and killing each other here in the streets. All right, the Negro Latino First Nation needs to know that wisdom, the truth, is going to be the stability of our time. It's going to be how we maneuver. You receive the truth through the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, and the disciples of Christ. Come into class. Check out the classes we have Monday, Tuesday, 7 to 9. I.S.U.P.K Quebec, headed by Priest and Officer Adiyar. He's got a class on Monday, I believe, from 5 to 6. Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Make sure you check that out for classes in French. Got the Lashwan Kodash class Friday, 7 to 9. Law class, I believe, still going on 7 to 9. Scripture breakdown class, typically, always headed by myself. Sometimes I give it to the other brothers to teach. Scripture breakdown class, mandatory class is Saturday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. All right. We'll be hosting General 12 Hyman. We'll be hosting Canada soon in Toronto. So, Officers Abaji, I'll get with you on that very soon. All right. Sir. Is there anything I'm forgetting? All right. Smash the like button, share, subscribe. With that being said, I'm going. Zabaji, you can finish it out, all right? The water, I appreciate it.
Khan, sir. Shalom, sir. Yah Bashem Yashab Rakatha.
Yah Bashem Yashab Rakatha.
Right, so Salakia, Officer Shariwan, did you have a precept you wanted to bring out?
So I was just holding verses for Officer Aban.
All right, so let's get to Ezekiel 30, Salakia, 35 and 1. Salakia, wait, what did I just have?
Salaki, Adawan, did you want me to start at verse 5?
Khan, sir. Khan, that's what
Khan. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity.
Right. So they've always hated us, right? They've had a perpetual hatred for us. They, like the other nations, their hatred for us runs deep. Ever since they've realized that we are the true Jews, right? They have shed our blood. And they have consistently shed our blood, and they're not going to stop until Christ comes back and puts them in their place. Right? Because thou has had a perpetual hatred, right? Read it one more time, Baba Kasha.
Khan. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity.
Right. While we're going
in the
through
time that their iniquity had an end.
Right. So our time for our iniquity is coming to an end, right? While we were going through it, while we were at the bottom, they forced their sword on us, right? And they killed us. At every turn they can, they killed us, right? And now they're going to have to face that same sword. They're going to have to face the judgment for the crimes they've committed against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Our iniquity is coming to an end, right? The Lord is exposing the crimes. He's showing the secret places of the nations that hate us, right? Can you read verse 6?
Khan. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee.
Right.
Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Right. Our oppressor, they've not hated blood. They don't see the shedding of our blood as something that they're gonna have to pay for. Now blood is gonna pursue them, right? You can't go out in the streets of London without having to worry about, is this crazy Edomite who the same ones that we've been working with, is he gonna hop in his car and try to run over us, right? We all have to go to some slavery, and you've all heard some crazy Edomite say something crazy where you got to look at him strange and wonder, is today the day he's gonna go postal? Is today the day he's gonna snap on us? And that's what they've said, postal, right? They've gone Salakia. They've wanted to kill us, right? And when they can't kill us, they turn on each other, right? Now, you could lower the flag and you could cry and say, well, you're killing these nations, right? Salakia. You could lower the flag and say, well, you're killing Muslims. But at the end of the day, they've been killing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Officer Bond earlier was talking about the Catholic Church having to pay, right? The Catholic Church, they could have took all the tithes that they get every Sunday for all the money they've gotten from selling the holy water and built pipes and built schools and built an infrastructure for the Native Americans, right? But they haven't done that. Slovakia. Can you get me Revelations 19 and 13, Babu Shah? Slovakia, are you there?
Come. Slaki, did you want me to keep reading?
No, La, can you get me Revelations 19 and 13?
Come. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 19 and verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God.
Right. So our king, he's going to make sure these nations have to pay, right? He's going to set justice. He's going to make sure that they're not able to murder 400 First Nation children, right? He's going to go through these lands, right, where our oppressors have their pools and their tennis courts and they're sipping their strong drink and relaxing and acting like they don't have to pay for the crimes that they've committed against us. And his vesture, his garment, it's going to be dipped in blood, right? Do you know how much blood you have to dip a garment in blood? Right? It's a lot. Right? And as the Lord chooses Israel, we have to remember we're not supposed to be serving our enemies, right? We're just supposed to chill, relax, get the popcorn, sit back and watch our enemies fight each other. Right? Slovakia.
Slakia, other one.
Khan.
Slakia, other one. Can you hear me?
So, Khan, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Khan, sir.
Did you have something you wanted to add?
Khan, sir. I just, if I could bring out a precept that was on my mind.
Khan.
It was Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 14. And it reads, "They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace." And the reason that verse came to mind is because I thought it was crazy seeing some of the leaders were what they would call some of the elders in these native Indian communities, and there's so many papers out where they're just asking for an apology.
Right.
Understand? Like all they're seeking from their oppressor is an apology for all the rape, rob, and murder that's happened to their people. Understand? And Salaki, that's all I wanted to bring out.
Khan, no, that's definitely heavy, because when our First Nation brothers, they and sisters, they will be asking for love and peace, and they think that going to the oppressors to beg for them is how you get it, right? But if you want love, you got to start by loving yourself, right? To love yourself is to keep these commandments, right? Is to get into the I.S.U.P.K.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just looking for something. Right, our oppressor hunts our steps, where we can't go outside in our streets, right? And that young man, he went outside to hunt for some blood, for some type of
Right.
gratification within killing, right? And he found it. He found it within killing the Muslims, right? And the country won't talk about it. The so-called leaders of this land, they don't talk about it like he was Salakia. They don't talk about it like he was a terrorist, right? Most people didn't even know this happened, right? And it's gonna keep happening, right? They're cunning hunters, our oppressors, and they're gonna keep hunting. They're gonna keep killing us until we realize that we have to serve our power, right? Once we realize that we have to serve our powers, that's when things are gonna get better. That's when we're gonna realize that Yahawashi is gonna come and kill for us. Let's go to Salakia. Let's go to Obadiah. Hold up, let me get it. Let's go to Obadiah 1 and 10. Right? For thy violence, Salakia, can you get me Obadiah 1 and 10?
Khan. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
Right. Right. So for the
And
violence
thou shalt be cut off forever.
Right. Our oppressors are definitely going to be cut off forever for the violence that they've committed against the Israelites. Right. They've committed so much violence against us. They can't wash off the blood. Our blood screams like Abel's blood screamed up to the Lord. It cried out, right? For the violence that they've committed against us, for the violence that they've committed against every single Native American, right? Their blood is gonna cry up to the Lord, and the shame of that blood, right? The shame of killing those innocent children and molesting those children is gonna cover our oppressors, and they're gonna be cut off forever. you can see it, our oppressors, they're ceasing to have children. Right? Slovakia. Like our oppressors have destroyed us at every chance they can get. They've purposely decided to destroy us. And there's nothing that you can do about it except go to your power. Go to the man of the war. Go to the man of the Lord. Right? Go Salakia. Go to the Lord because he's a man of war. And that's what you have to do to it. That's what you have to do to get out of this oppression.
Slakia Adawan.
Khan.
I'm holding two verses that Officer Aban wanted to bring out. Did you want me to go into those?
Which verses were they? You could bring them out. Khan, bring them out.
The first one was 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3.
Khan, we could start with that one.
Khan. This is the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there coming a fall, Salakia, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Right. Like we can't be deceived into thinking that our oppressors are gonna love us. Right. Shalaki, read that one more time.
Khan. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed.
Right. You gotta fall away from the oppressor, right? He's a man of sin. He's revealing it to us every day in the earth. Look at how he's killing us. Right? Look at how he has an insane bloodlust. Right? These crazy Edomites have an insane bloodlust for the children of Israel. And they just want to kill us. They just want to make sure we die. Right? And they do it well. Right? Now they don't need drugs in our community to kill us. They just hop in their F-150s. Right? And Khan, sir, just like Officer Adiyar is saying, we are seeing the oppressor for who he really is. Right? A bloodlusting terrorist. Right? They're committing all the terrorists, all the terrorism. What was the second verse you had?
Salakia, that was Hebrews 12 and verse 16.
Khan, we can go to Hebrews 12.
Khan. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 And verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Salakia Adawan, you're on mute.
Come on. Read that one more time, Baba Kashar.
Verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Right. So for one morsel of meat, we got hate. Right. For one morsel of meat, for one red pottage stew, now the oppressors hate us. Right. The family that was killed, right? They're not going to, they're not gonna be Salakia. The family that was killed, now we have to remember that the same way they've been killed, we've been being killed. Right? The same way they're being killed, they've killed us for hundreds of years. The same way they ran over our families with horses, they've strangled us, they've murdered us at every turn that they can Salakia, at every step that they could take to kill us, our oppressors is going to do it. Salakia, one moment.
Salakia Adawan, I did have one more verse.
Khan, we could pull that one.
Khan. It's in the book of Matthew, chapter 26, and verse 52.
Right, let's get it.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 26, and verse 52. Then Yahawashi said unto him, Put up again thy sword unto his place. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword.
Read that one more time.
Verse 52. Then said Yahawashi unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword.
Right. So for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Right. Our oppressors, they've killed us with the sword. The modern day sword is the firearm. Right. They've used drugs to kill us. Now they're using vehicles. Right. The air hates our oppressors. Every single beast hates our oppressors, right? And I'm gonna leave you with Leviticus 24 and 17. And he that killeth any man shall surely be put to death, right? Our oppressors are being put to death, right? They're being put to death because they've hated us since forever, right? And if you ask an oppressor why he hates us, they can't explain it. All they know is you're First Nation, you're Native American, you're Black or Hispanic, and they hate you, right? So our oppressors are going to be put to death, and be put in their place for killing the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right? And with that said, we're going to end the class. Right? Clap it up. Officer Shariwan, is there anything else you wanted to add?
Nah, sir.
Con. We're going to clap it up and end the class. Tune in. Stay tuned. We're going to be making some announcements about the Feast of First Fruits and the other classes that we have going on. Right? Shalom.
With that, we're going to give the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We're the I.S.U.P.K, start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. They need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find that in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashra means tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give, please give. Upcoming holy convocations, we have the Feast of First Fruits coming up on June 20th, Sunday, June 20th. That's next week. If you're in Canada, you can contact Officer 500 Zabadia. If you're in Montreal, you can contact Officer Adiyar, Officer 1000 Adiyar. And for the rest of the brothers and sisters in the school, you can contact your camp leader. With that, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, I.M.A.J.M, which means stand in the Hebrew. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, I.M.A.J.M Shabbat. I.M.A.J.M, Barak, Yah Bashim Yah Shabrak Atham, Yad Yamata, which means hands down in the Hebrew. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, I.M.A.J.M Shabbat. I.M.A.J.M, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alathan Bashim Yahweh Shai, to all the sisters. That means Yahweh watch over you in the name of Yahweh Shai. Yad Yamata, class dismissed.